Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Reviews Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Clemente. Alongside with me is my bestest best friend, Chubax.
Big Daddy here. Merry Christmas. Hello.
Merry Christmas. This is our the Christmas week recording of the reviews episodes. Before we start, a little bit of housekeeping. The Plus 63 HP podcast stable of shows is available on YouTube. So just search Plus 63 HP in that search bar. We'd love it if you could subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell so you know when all of our shows drop. We are also on Twitter, so feel free to interact with us. Follow us by adding plus 63 HP Twitter on Instagram and on Instagram. You can also listen to us in any podcast as a listening app of your choice. Again, just search plus 63 HP. We prefer Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon. Next week, we will be tackling The Witcher, however many episodes we get to watch, as well as the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Because if you do not know yet, the Plus 63 HP Reviews podcast is where myself, my brothers, we discuss our opinions, analyze certain week on week shows that are in the zeitgeist currently, and we may or may not have one or two movies and other series that we want to deep dive into so we can provide you with some insights whether or not you should watch it, how you should watch it, when you should watch it, and who you should watch it with. Uh, with that, this week we have two shows that have currently ended their week on week run. So for those haven't seen it yet, it's a great opportunity to either binge it or schedule it. So when you can finish that particular season, that will be Hawkeye in Disney Plus,
Now's the
as well
time.
as The Wheel of Time in Amazon Prime Studios. We will also be discussing the movie of the week, the recently released Matrix Resurrections. That's the fourth film in the Matrix series with all of the major characters, or at least almost all of the major characters coming back. Housekeeping done. I'm very excited to jump into these shows. But before that, Merry Christmas, Shabox. How was your Christmas?
Merry Christmas. It was good. Some good gifts. Some fun. Finally, some more time with the family compared to the last few years. Still an adjustment. Still a little paranoid, being around
Yeah.
so many people and having not done that in the past few years. But it was good for the kids. It was good for the wife, the in-laws. So that's good. Good. How about you?
What was your favorite? What was your favorite gift this Christmas?
Oh, they got me a GoPro.
Oh, look at you!
It's not the latest, but I don't think we need the latest. It's
You
not
don't
like
need it.
yeah, my ex. So I'm excited to use that, especially for snorkeling with the kids. So that's gonna be fun. I still need to buy
Spe-
um um the memory stick and selfie stick. But yeah, excited.
Cool. It's also weird here because again, the cases of the Omicron variant has spiked a lot, particularly in New York. So it's weird everywhere. People are trying to stay open, like the businesses are starting to stay open, but people's plans have been, been canceling here and there because you don't want to get sick before you travel back to family. So everybody's
Mm-hmm.
in this weird limbo of should I continue with my plans? Should I just hunker down? So I'm in a way I'm lucky that I haven't really spent a lot of holidays with a lot of people or with family for the past decade. So I've always used I've always used the Christmas season to do just like rest a little bit more, do personal projects. So that's um everything. So that's the only thing that I've been doing the past couple of days and throughout the next week, just doing more fun stuff. But we'll have more deep dives about our weeks and our updates in our next episodes of our reacts show. But this week we have three shows closing, so we have feelings around this. So I'll start with I think the lightest among the three topic wise, and I think the place where we can have a lot more discussion is the last episode of Hawkeye, entitled, uh, where is it? Uh, shit, I lost the title of the. So this is Christmas, right? Um, Spoiler warning, spoiler alert. The things that we, in order to deep dive into these shows, we will be spoiling a few details of the series. We will try to keep it as, as light as possible. So if you guys still want to rewatch it or watch it at your own time, you can still do so. But on episode 6 of Hawkeye, we start with a recording of Eleanor Bishop, Kate's mom, essentially quitting Kingpin's organization, or trying to quit Kingpin's organization. So we can assume that Eleanor took over Kate's dad's dealings with the Kingpin to pay off whatever dad's debt. But because Kate is getting closer and closer to all of these things that has been happening around Sloan Limited or Armand's death, Eleanor Bishop wanted to detach herself away. So she said that she had recordings of all their conversations or dealings. So she thinks that she was protected. And Kingpin did not take that lightly. Cut to the next parts where um, uh, Kate finding out that because it was a recording sent by Yelena to Kate while Kate was just talking with Clint. So they started trying to figure out how they could close this out, both Kingpin and Eleanor, all the things that they've done. They form their partnership officially. They start preparing for this particular battle that will be happening during the Bishop Holiday Spectacular. They make trick arrows, which is kind of the fun bit of the shows. That was straight off the comics, where they they restock their dangerous and
Arsenal.
non-dangerous arrows with multiple different uses. This is my
And
this is
finally
where my
labeling them.
nipples got hard.
Finally
And so
labeling it.
that's where I think the thing that made my nipples the hardest is I'm quite the OCD person, and I have a love affair with
Label
label
maker.
maker Dymo. So this is what it's like, almost the exact same model that they were
That-
using to label their arrows. So I fucking love that scene. It kind of like really grounds not only superhero movies in general, but this particular series. That of course you have to be practical. You know, Kate is still learning. It's not like Clint that has been doing this for a while. So yeah, you have to label it. Uh, so and then I'll skip through a bunch of details. There's a little bit of detail there where we cut to um, Maya talking to Kingpin and Kazi, and then Maya saying that she's gonna stop hunting Ronin. She just needs a little break,
Leave.
just to like reset a little bit. But Kazi and Kingpin kind of read through it that Maya is about to betray him. So Kazi is sent out to kill Maya as well, or to get rid of Maya. Then there's the big action set piece of fighting in the Rockefeller Center ice skating rink. That was so fun. Prior to that, I forgot that there's this. They were trying to look for Eleanor in the Bishop party. They it's funny that the LARPers were used as kind of assists. Um, in this particular mission, there was
Nice touch.
a
Nice touch.
nice touch. Also quite realistic. Well, realistic in a sense that, of
They
course,
have
you're just
experience
two.
with it anyways. They're not that
Some of them were
yeah,
firefighters and policemen,
cops.
but also the idea that generally, if you're Hawkeye and you're Kate Bishop, you don't have the tech, you don't have control, you don't have man in the
Manpower.
chair, you don't have Iron Man, Jarvis, or Friday helping you out. You need people, so that was smart. Um, Yelena also was in the party. There was one of my favorite action set pieces was,
Oh,
excuse me, uh, Yelena and oh
Kate,
shit,
bless you.
right, Yelena and Kate Bishop uh fighting
Right.
it's kind of like play fighting where Yelena is obviously does not just wants to stop Kate from stopping her, and Kate is just stopping Yelena from killing
Clint.
Clint.
So
So it's
good.
it's so cool. Them going through different offices in the building. Their conversation in the fucking elevator was the fucking
The
best.
best.
This is this is going to be the next 10
The
years of
the
Marvel.
future of Marvel, and it's freaking bright, bright as a
It's
star.
they are great actors and they're great actresses. They have amazing physicality. They're
They have
super
great
talented.
chemistry.
Oh my god,
That's
I
the
love it.
key.
Oh my god, I think Kevin Feige is fucking
It's the
big
magician,
jumping
baby.
with joy. It's like, oh my god. Um so they fight all throughout the, I mean, I'm gonna skip a lot of the details because I would love for our audience to watch that fight scene. That play fighting scene is so cool. Um and then big action set piece in the ice skating rink. Um, and then this is where it gets a little bit convoluted because there's so many. They tried to close so many tracks in the series, which we'll discuss a little bit how Marvel has been pacing their shows and their movies in general. But there's the Kazi and Maya fight scene. There is the Kate and Clint versus the tracksuits, which is super fun. Eventually, they separate, and it becomes Kate versus Kingpin
Mm-hmm.
in the toy store. And then there's Clint versus Yelena
Yelena.
in the ice skating rink. And then there's also the subplot of Kate trying to capture her mom outside the toy store. So there's so
Mm-hmm.
many final fight scenes. I'm glad that we have a lot of Kingpin action here. I have questions there as well. Um, Yelena and Clint finally talks. I don't understand why Clint can't just say that, hey, you need to sacrifice yourself to get the last stone. I don't know why they wouldn't understand that, but okay. But
I
they
think
finally kind of,
I think anything he says would just bounce off
sure, yeah, she
until
calms down.
the correct timing, which he did. So, but yeah,
And yeah, so resolution of all is Kate eventually uses the quarter trick to incapacitate Kingpin. Then she narcs her mom and has her arrested.
I
Another
love
questionable move, but
I
we'll
love the
see.
ending though.
Yeah. Uh, Maya kills Kazi, and then also captures a fleeing Kingpin with a semi, not cliffhanger, but open-ended, um,
It's a cliffhanger.
off-screen,
It's a cliffhanger.
yeah,
Yeah.
off-screen ending because um, they seem to want you to think that Echo was gonna
Shot
shoot
him.
Kingpin,
There was a shot,
but
so
there was a shot,
I don't
but
think she would
because we
have.
didn't see it, yeah, it might have been like
She just
did
fired somewhere in anger.
and let him go, or maybe Kingpin was able to kind of
Subdue her.
capture or um excuse me. There's this comic book run where Echo did shoot Kingpin, and I saw this in one of the breakdowns. Is the King Echo did shoot Kingpin in the face in one comic, but he didn't die. He just went blind.
Mm.
Right, so that might be another route. So the good thing about this is smartly you keep it open ended. Depends on, give the writers time to write whatever they need to do for either the next Kingpin series or the next Echoes, or for the Echo series. You don't have to put yourself in that situation. And then, as mentioned, uh, Clint was able to kind of withstand Yelena's attacks, and they eventually were able to talk, and Clint used the secret whistle that Yelena and Natasha was using to kind of calm Yelena down. Um, Ending is Kate is spending the holidays in the Barton farm, which I fucking love.
That
We finally
that's the
understand.
ending I love.
I love that because it kind of shows like, all right, this is how you become the next Hawkeye. You actually fucking hopefully you fucking train with the Hawkeye. And even better, we finally have a little bit more clarity on the fucking watch that they've been, following
I
for a
think you
very,
were
very
the one
long
that
time.
called it. I think you, you,
Well, I
you
mean,
in one of your theories in the earlier episodes, I think you said maybe it's her watch, or maybe it was Kat.
yeah,
I don't
but
know
the
if it
thing
was
is,
your or the wife.
yeah, the thing is like there's a lot of theories might be like fucking Kang's watch or Tony's watch becomes something, but one of the theories is like it's one of the things that kind of connects Lara to becoming a former Shield agent. She was Agent 19, essentially Mockingbird, which is kind of cool. Hawkeye and Mockingbird, that's cute.
They were
Um,
married.
so here we could see that, oh, like I'm hoping like my wish list is Hawkeye training Kate for the physical stuff, but Lara Mockingbird training Kate for more mental
To
stuff, more
the
of the espionage stuff. So
espionage.
um there is a mid-credit stinger for the Hawkeye series, which is kind of cute, which totally, well, not essentially related to the series, but it's a full on production of
Dance and
the
song.
musical Rogers the musical, where they sang the full song of I Can Do This All Day, which is kind of fun. So
I
that
love the title. Yeah.
that is episode 6 of Hawkeye. Chubax, what did you think about the season finale? What did you think about the series? And any other notes about Hawkeye?
Oh, I loved it. It was great, but it wasn't the best. It was like we were talking about it last week, where most of the finales have been big dips compared to the second to the last. This one was a dip, but it wasn't that big a dip. Just couldn't match the highs, and some questionable decisions. But I loved it. Everything with Clint, everything with Kate was amazing. Yelena was amazing. My surprise chuckle in the episode was Jack being really he
Jack,
he was a good guy. He ended up being a good guy.
he's just a huge
He's
dork.
just a huge
That's
nerd with a
it.
sword. It was amazing with the
He
sword,
came into the party with a sword. That is dope.
right? And I was for sure saying gonna be like maybe he planned it with the mom because he showed up to the mom's party who accused him of sent him to prison, but he still showed up and he still tried to take care of her, and he's just genuinely a good guy who's a good with the sword.
He's the best. Fucking Jack.
So I wouldn't mind him coming back and being I don't know, like one of their honorable allies, like the larpers. Very good use of the larpers too, like
Mhm.
it kind of made me like the episode 2 more because it has more weight at the end. It's not just like a throwaway
That's true.
thing.
I hated that episode, but
Me too.
okay,
That was
it
the
paid off.
weakest, but yeah, it kind of made it lifted it up. The tracksuit guys are always fun, bro.
Oh,
Bro,
even
thank
that little
you.
quip where it's like, "Oh, before I kill you, I just wanted to make sure that I told her I told
He
her
was
my
very
feelings. We went to
thankful.
Maroon 5 instead."
But uh, Yelena, what can I say with the Yelena Kate? Everything there was so good. It even overshadowed Clint, but I don't think he minds. So it's just amazing. The fight scene with Clint was so dramatic. Also, like my kids are like really worried, especially Isabella, if she was gonna kill him. I mean, knowing MCU, they could have,
They could have.
he could have. Yeah, I was still even the last part where he pulled him up. I was expecting him to shoot him. I mean, he would probably survive, but I was still thinking for her to go for the kill. And then my nitpicks is there's too much Kingpin for me, and not in the
Fair.
right, not in like he was he was the one that Hawkeye was scared of, but Kate was able to take care of him. I mean, it was a
Mhm.
lucky shot. It was uh by chance also, circumstances, but I don't know. It kind of if somebody like Hawkeye was so scared of him, why was it the fight, the physical? I think he could have taken him if Kate was able to take him even by chance. Then Hawkeye could have taken him.
Mhm. Mhm.
Was it the thousand tracksuit guys, which they took care of also?
Take
So
together.
I was like, I thought he was be more the man, like the man behind everything. He wasn't gonna expose himself for just to get to Eleanor. You know, he could have asked somebody else to do that. I didn't know why. I
Yep.
didn't think why he would expose himself to be in there. And then Maya was a little weak. Also, the ending. I mean, I would have liked it if it connected with Clint a little more. You know, if they had at least more another conversation before she went her own way.
I like the idea of like, I was really hoping that she could have been the undercover
I
person. Like
know,
he could
yeah,
have
and
still stayed
then
Maya and became Ronin, but okay, I guess they're going to a different direction now.
yeah, I know, and then him uh quickly facing off with the Kingpin, and then looks like getting the upper hand, and Kingpin a little afraid. So that kind of diminished. You know, everybody was waiting for this big bad, and then it wasn't that big. But I hope they can redeem him. I mean, he's still Vincent D'Onofrio, so it still work. So as long as they push it, but I love that they had the courage to put Kate home with Clint for the ending.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that's a little like putting your eggs in one. Like we're, we're gonna do this. He's there. She's there. She's there with him. I really thought they did it like a tease right at the end where he was getting the gifts and the shot was like on the side, so you thought he was
Mhm.
alone, and he was getting all the gifts. It was like if somebody was there, she would have helped him, but he was getting all the gifts. Like, is
Mm.
she there? Oh, she's there. Kate was there. So that was good. So
I didn't
overall,
expect that too.
me too. And then the ending, everybody, me and the kids and the wife were expecting a little more zinger for the post credits, but still, I was still amazed that they had to create that song and dance for the
That's
whole choreography, for a
I
musical.
figured you did it in the first episode. Might as well record it, right? Might as well do it. So I think that's very smart on their end.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm sure a lot of it ends on the cutting floor anyway. So I'm sure they had to shoot the whole thing anyways. But yeah, I loved it. One of my favorite series. I don't know. Are we ranking stuff? I don't know if how will I rank this?
So we have one of it. So let's keep it within the current Disney Plus series that we have right now. So um
Wanda,
we have
Falcon, Loki.
WandaVision, Falcon, Loki, and this.
Do we? I think we have to include What If, right?
Oh shit,
What
yeah.
If? Uh, I think for me, shit, they're also good, but um, maybe
Well,
critically, I
well,
would
well,
go.
while you're thinking about it, my my thoughts on the
Oh,
Hawkeye
go.
qu- quite aligned with yours, but this hasn't been my favorite finale of any of
Yeah, it's the
the
strongest. I
Disney
agree.
Plus series. But again, we discussed this heavily last week. One of the inherent weakness of doing shows and movies within a universe is you can't really go all in. You can't extremely close something because the story will always need to keep threads open so you know whether to develop a Maya, a Kingpin. So
Yeah,
all these series has become a backdoor pilot in a lot of a lot of the other shows. So that's the inherent weakness. That's why we can't have like a Watchmen like type of like the HBO Watchmen series where
and
they fucking close that shit down.
maybe we need to realign our expectations as well. Maybe we should move it to the second,
Exactly.
which they always
The
land.
no, exactly.
Right?
And I think maybe so partly it's because like we've seen a couple of these already, so I was kind of prepared. But even so, this has been my favorite ending because it's so contained. Like the Hawkeye series is one of my top tier Marvel properties because it's just a couple of days. It's just a couple of characters. The mission was very very simple, right? So it was essentially the suit, but essentially not necessarily the suit. Is the connection that the suit had to certain underground organization underground organizations. So it's such a clean story that you could read. It's the characters became so developed. Look, maybe Maya and Kazi wasn't as developed as we want to, but they're villains and they're second tier. But the Hawkeye Ronin Clint Barton character, that's a very complex mixed match of stuff that I love. Really, really providing a solid, extremely solid base for Kate Bishop as a MCU character, but also taking over the handle of Hawkeye. Perfect way to introduce a person, like comedically, her talents, her origin stories, like her, the things that she's capable of and why she's capable of all those things. And even Yelena, like Yelena being there, um, you know, you know, giving them an opportunity to like, all right, there's gonna be a Hawkeye Black Widow series or a movie for sure in the future. They will be the main people that will be leading the next young or just regular Avengers. It's great. So everything that they did here was for me great. Action, simple, straightforward, shoot some arrows, lots of people, have fun a little bit. You don't need to work on different powers, just have fun on different arrows. I think the main thing that kind of made the usual second to the last episode to last episode dip for these series is I think they should revisit the 6 episode structure. I think there's some series like the One Division series could have done with fewer episodes, maybe 4 or 5, make it a little tighter. But this series, because they introduced Kingpin late, because of the Maya angle, because of the Elena angle, I think another episode or two would have helped because Kingpin was like in and out. I
Mm.
think they just wanted to highlight, oh, he is. I love the idea that the first few episodes he was the man behind everyone. I love that. But once he came out, it was so quick. It's like came
Yeah.
out, somebody quit, he got beat by a girl. It's
Yeah.
like so I think they needed maybe another episode to really make him the menacing supernatural menace. Because like we didn't
For
know if we
me,
didn't know if
he didn't even need to put him that much. Kate would have just maybe fought with her mom or something. They didn't need that fight scene. It was cool though, him
I
throwing
think
her
they
around
they
and stuff.
wanted to showcase showcase that Kingpin is not just not only brain smart, but he's also like he
I I
tore
I
the
I would
door
have
open.
I would have rather. I mean, it was a great Kate moment with the flicking thing, but I would have rather he knock her out and killed the mom and then left. That would have been
That would have been I
better
will
for me.
see you we
But then
talked
again,
about that last week too,
it's Christmas series, and it's light, so yeah,
and
it's
it's
a
Disney
little.
Plus. I don't think that they're gonna kill anybody in Disney Plus. So that's the other inherent. But again,
Well, Captain
I
America killed somebody.
uh, you did.
The no, the other cap, the fake cap with the
Oh,
shield.
yeah, 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 that's true. That's true. That's true. Well, yeah, this is, I really enjoyed this series. Like, I was extremely surprised, but I need another run through whether it is because I've expected this format already. This is the fourth, but also maybe because I came in Hawkeye with the lowest expectations. I thought that this was going to be a fun holiday buddy cop movie, right?
Yeah.
but instead we have
So many
deep, like
layers.
even just like you know you're being a human superhero, but Clint's weaknesses about still being hung up on Natasha, still trying to make up for the things that he's done. Kate trying to trying to have fun, be a kid, but trying to do a good thing. So yeah, this is amazing. So with
I,
that, like, where were you ranking this?
I also loved how he's not stupid. Like, even though he decided to kill people as Ronin, he knows that some people took advantage of that because he was blinded by his anger. Like Kingpin took advantage and gave him people to kill. They were bad people, but still, somebody was able to take advantage of it. I don't know. My first gut feeling is I just love WandaVision. I still remember our discussions with WandaVision when it came out. And personally, I love the ending. So that still pops out for me as, and it's just so different. So that's just one of my favorite personal favorites. And then I guess I go that, and then Hawkeye, and then Loki, and then Falcon. But to be honest, they're just my favorite
All
thing about
different.
this
So,
is they're all different.
mhm.
We got the weird like Twilight Zone shit. We got the Die Hard fun buddy cop shit. We got the nice action Winter Soldier kind of spy kind of agent stuff. And then we got
Mhm.
the Doctor Who stuff with Loki. And then we're gonna get the Psycho Moon Knight. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so
Ah,
excited. Oh my god. We gotta figure out how to do a live reacts for maybe Moon Knight or something. But yeah,
I mean, we should
that's
definitely watch the finale together,
yeah
at
okay.
least,
At least maybe
or the last two
the
episodes.
first and the last.
The
I
first and
think
the
that
last.
will
Yeah,
be
we should do
good.
that.
Okay, but yeah,
Loki will be my number one, only because it was so ambitious, and the ripples of the variants and the dismantling of the sacred timeline is the main crux of all of the movies in phase 4 and moving forward, like all multiverse and everything like that. Plus, Sylvie surprised me. The one scene with Kang kind of fucking crushed everything. It's kind of like amazing. um but it's not, again, it's not without its flaws. Like
yeah,
it's my number one, but my number two, which is Hawkeye, which is weird. I know I thought that it'll be my number two. For me, it was like a much more solid series. It's much cleaner, much more straightforward, much more fun, better character development all around. So it developed the ground level MCU Avengers stuff in a much better way than the how the multiversal stuff and the variants did with Loki. So, and then I'll go with WandaVision was a close three. The only thing is, like, I really didn't. I This is when it suffered. Think that WandaVision had the highest highs, but also the lowest lows in terms of that last episode. That big CGI battle in the end was, I think, a little too slap in the face. But also the idea of, like, I really took it personally when the writers started dropping hints and Easter eggs, thinking
and
like,
they
"Oh,
did
I know a scientist that will do this," and then you go fucking give me,
some no name.
you
Yeah,
don't do that. You don't sneak. That's just stupid. I hate that. And then talking in the Winter Soldiers like that, it's coming, you know, trailing down the end there, because it's just, um,
pretty
I love
much. It's
the
pretty
actiony
straightforward.
stuff, but yeah, it didn't have as much depth, and it didn't have as much highs. But yeah, it was like, again, everything is different. We enjoyed everything, and um, we're gonna take a break from MCU for at least a couple of weeks, and before Moon Knight, and we're gonna divert our attention back to the other franchise that we love, that has shaped our childhood, which is Star Wars with the Book of Boba Fett next
Yeah.
week. Um, we're moving to the next topic of discussion for this week, which are the last couple of episodes of the Wheel of Time. So I'm gonna turn that over to you, Chubax, on it's like a bit of a um, uh, plot summary, and we can start discussing the series in general. Uh,
So I'll go light here since it's gonna be too long. But so the last two episodes, episode 6 is episode 7 and 8. So the episode 7 is the dark along the ways. We start with the group going into the ways to head to the eye of the world, and the ways being like another dimension that people thousands of years before used to travel quickly, like shortcuts, but since then has fallen to shadow and it's just really dark, and, depressing, and scary. And Matt not joining, which is a big surprise from the book readers as well. And then they they face something scary just before they get out. Called the Machin Shin. It's like a black cloud that will just destroy everything, and whispers tries to fuck with you. And then so they able to escape because apparently Egwene channeled. Oh no, it was Nynaeve who channeled pala.
y-
And then to protect them, they were able to escape to a city, the last city beyond the by the border, because beyond that is like the blight which the Dark One controls, full of Trollocs. So it's the city of Faldara, right? Faldara.
Aldara.
Yeah. So they go here. It's a city of fighters because they're the city at the border. They're the ones protecting everything underneath. And what else happens here? Nynaeve and Lan took their relationship to the next level. There's another reveal where a parent
They
apparent
banged.
another reveal where a parent apparently was also in love with Egwene. So I wasn't wrong because in the first few episodes I was like sensing something between him and his looks with Egwene. I didn't know it was like intentional or it was just like a weird him taking care of her. But apparently they were going that route, that he had feelings with Egwene. So and then in the end it's revealed. We meet one of the other characters, Min, who can see images when she looks at anybody, and especially important people in the
Their
pattern.
future.
Yeah, present and future and stuff. That always comes true. And then in the end, it's revealed that Rand is the Dragon Reborn, and that some of the scenes in the back where they thought it was Egwene or somebody else that did something, he was the one who was channeling. I think that was pretty well done. How they did that reveal.
Mhm.
And then in at the end of the no Matt at all at this episode.
Mhm.
And then I wonder if that was like um intended story wise, or if they had to do that because of the actor
Yeah, we did
being
we did read, or we did talk about that
he's
the actor playing Matt is not going to be part of
yeah
season 2,
gonna
perhaps,
be
like he
recast.
already fucked up towards the end, so
Yeah, I wonder what he did.
they had to like something different.
So because they really didn't give him any more lines, so I think he
Mhm.
fucked up somewhere, because they would
Yeah.
have made him do something. But and then so we start episode 8. Rand having left with Moraine towards the eye of the world, leaving them behind because there was a saying that if you're not a dragon, you go to the eye of the world. You only the dragon can survive. So um, Lan tries to follow her, and then the rest of the Two Rivers group are left behind, not knowing anything. but suddenly there's an attack on the city by like how couple of thousand Trollocs, 5 to 10,
Yeah, say like
which is
50,000 Trollocs and 10 fades.
which is more than what the city can handle. So while Rand and Moraine are traveling towards the Eye of the World, the city's getting ready to fight, and the sister of the Lord, Melissa, I think is the name. She rounds up whoever can channel to face the coming onslaught because they know that the Lord is in the gap, Tarwin's gap, and it's not gonna hold. So they're Melissa was trying to get anybody who can channel to be the last wall of protection for the city, while the others evacuate. And at the same time, there was a couple soldiers given the task by Lord Agelmar to retrieve the horn of Valerie, which was in their possession because it's needed by the dragon in the last battle. So all of these are going on, and then Rand and Moraine reach the Eye of the World, and they meet uh the Dark One, but it's actually Ishamael, one of the Forsaken, who loves to impersonate the Dark One,
Pretend. Yeah.
or people, or the people assumed he was the Dark One because of his setup and how he looks and stuff. He was really well cast. I like that guy, and
I like the combi. So like a quick aside there, it's like I love how the wardrobe that they use in this series is kind of contemporary but medieval. Like it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
small sport coat, but kind of like a kimono
yeah. They
inside. So
they
it's
add
like, oh,
something to
it looks like something that I would like to wear.
yeah, yeah.
Period.
It's
Not
so
as a
cool.
cosplay, but like it looks really good. I really like it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Episode 8 starts with an intro of Lusterin, the original dragon. Well, I don't know if he's
Three
the
thousand
original,
years
but
ago.
yeah, but he was a dragon 3,000 years ago, asking another the Tamerlan seat, the leader of the female Aes Sedai at that time, to help the male side seal the Dark One for good. But the female side didn't help them because it was too dangerous. So it was, in short, it was the reason why they were showing the decisions being made that would lead to the present where all the males who can channel would be corrupted or driven mad because of the taint in the one power. Anyways, back to the story. Rand meets Ishamael in the Eye of the World, and apparently he's trapped there, right? And he's trying to escape, but the only way he can escape is if Rand helps him. So he brings him to a dream world where he's trying to manipulate him and make him see, make him choose to be selfish and be on Ishamel's side, while Moraine, being a badass that she is, even though she was like stilled, she takes a knife. I love that part. Like, oh, I'm gonna make his decision for him. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, if he doesn't choose, I'll choose
Yeah,
it
I
for him.
love. She's so badass. But yeah, in the end, I love that part where he says he realizes that, which is very, I guess, is it feminist? But I love that she said that the woman I love wouldn't want
Oh
this.
yeah,
What I want
yeah.
is not what she wants. And even though it breaks my heart, that's the
I
version
want
of
her to choose.
that's the woman I love. The who doesn't want the same thing that I do because she's strong and she wants what she wants. So he defeats Ishamael and thinks that that was the last battle, and then he leaves. And Moraine is
He leaves
apparent
because he knows that
he's gonna go
he
crazy.
felt the madness. He felt the madness, so he doesn't want to kill
Just
people
wanna hurt the ones he
he's
loves.
around with.
So Moraine, Lan meets Moraine, and apparently she's still. It's a big departure from the book. And then Loyal is apparently killed. Another departure from the book. But the director said he didn't breathe his last breath, or you didn't see it, so he might still
Mhm.
be alive. I think he's still alive.
Yeah, I think
And
they were just like they gave themselves an option because I think I didn't like how they
I
used
know.
loyal there.
So Padan Fane, who was the merchant in the first episode, comes back and steals the horn, which is in set doing the setup for the book two, which is the same, and Perrin is left with the debate of fighting or wave the leaf. And then we got a cool scene with Amelissa and four other women who can channel, including Egwene and Nynaeve, holding off the 50,000 Trollocs. And Nynaeve dying but coming back. I don't know how she came back. She was healed
She was
by
healed by.
Egwene. Oh, well, I guess if she's that strong, she can do that. But yeah, that was good. Good fight scene too. And then in the end, we got a tease with Seanchan arriving. A group of ships with slave Aes Sedai or slaved women who can channel doing their bidding, which they're the kind of the main bad guys in season in book 2. So yeah, that's episode 8, The Eye of the World. So what did you think as a recent
Oh,
book listener?
yeah. I'm almost finished with book 4 too. One of the reasons why I want to like take a short train ride somewhere this afternoon so I can finish the book is um overall I really enjoyed this series. I think it's a quicker, more fun, a lot simpler rendition of the books. There's a lot of decisions that I like a lot of cuts that I like, but the episode 7 was pretty fun for me. Like everything that they did there was kind of cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
a truncated version of showing how powerful Nynaeve is when only when angry.
Yeah.
Initially showing how powerful Egwene could be as well, but apparently in the episode 8 it was Rand who was doing it. I kind of like, it's okay that they rushed the love story of Lan and Nynaeve a little bit, but I it kind of provided a lot more context about a wisdom can never wed, so can't the warder.
And because he's
uh
bound Moraine.
it bound to a different woman, but also the showing like in episode 8 how like Lan saying like I will hate the person that you will choose, but if he makes you laugh, I will love him. So that's kind of like the
Oh.
complicated love story that these people will need to go through to be able to fight against the darkness. So it provides a lot of cool context around that. Episode 8 was a mess. It was a mess in terms of um like the way that what's her name, Moraine and Rand went to the eye through the blight was like you're kind of setting up how dangerous the blight is, but essentially literally just walk to the eye.
Yeah,
so,
that
so
is true.
okay, cool. And then when you get there, it's essentially just like a mental battle between a choice. So if that's the case, you could have done that way sooner with more people, right? I know everybody who's not the one would die, but they didn't. Who knew? Like there was no there was like, Moraine was not affected while she was there. Nobody else was, so it
Well,
was
she was
kind of like
still,
the
so that's probably more than death.
well, so yeah, the idea that was, she wouldn't have been stilled if she had a little bit more backup. I mean,
Oh well.
that's one of those decisions that kind of like did not make sense to me. And fundamentally, there's no Moraine without power. So what? Now they're gonna find a way to unstill Moraine, right? Um, the battle on the battle of the gap was kind of fun, but that's the problem with big set pieces like those
Yeah, you're
in
not gonna
TV
get,
shows.
not gonna get.
You're not gonna get as cool, good quality, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't
Yeah,
super
yeah, yeah.
bad. The thing that kind of like disappointed me a little bit was essentially the Lord's sister was able to kind of eradicate everything. Yeah, at the expense of herself and two other weaker channelers, right? Maybe even four if Egwene did not heal more
Nynaeve.
Nynaeve. but the idea is like, oh, you could have done that. Maybe you should have been closer to the gap a little bit more and did that before the gap fell. But so that was kind of like all the things that kind of didn't make sense to me. But they gave enough information on how dangerous the channeling is, how you know
Yeah, maybe
you could
even she was
drop.
surprised because she didn't know how strong it was gonna be from Nynaeve and Egwene.
Yeah, so that's probably the reason why she was able to kind of eradicate all 50,000 Trollocs, because he had the two dragon
Dragonesque.
candidates as well. Um, but the little quip about by Pat and Fane when he was stealing the horde, about all five of you are important. I go to, it's rare, it's super rare to have one uh Tarvalin. What was that name? Uh what
Taverne.
was that? Uh Tar-
Taverne. The
one of
important.
the people,
Yeah, that's
yeah, one of
important.
the people that weaves the
Talvaren.
pattern.
Talvaren.
Talvarin?
I think it's
Yeah.
Talvaren.
Yeah, Talvarin. So yeah, so it's rare enough to find one per generation, but to find five in one area, so there's something weird about them. So he kind of knew that some of you will, and it's about balance, some of you will go to the light, some of you will go to the dark, kind of like winking on how Matt, they reused one of the image of Matt going to the shadow place again
Yeah.
by himself. So, about that. So that's kind of cool with me. Like, all right, or you're setting up for season two, and then they just walk away, not doing anything to Perrin, like, and Perrin not doing anything. So I told you my plan. We took the most important thing, and then I'm just gonna bounce. There's so many like messy, weird stuff that is happening in that particular episode that it almost made me like, oh man, how am I going to suggest this be watched by people moving forward? But I think, if now that all the episodes are out and you can watch it a little bit more continuously, it's a little bit better. But overall, it's like it's a solid series. I really wanted this to I wanted people to knock it out of the park. I don't want it to be like I want it to be closer to Game of Thrones quality rather than fucking, let's say, like the Expanse quality of series. But it's not as polished, and I they do have a season two, and I really hope it's better than. How
It's
about you?
going.
What do you think about the episode finale and then the series in general?
I like the episode finale more than you, but I think seven was the weaker one. But uh, I don't know. I'm still digesting it. I think it's more of all the changes that they made, so it kind of surprised me. So I was surprised. Like, I don't know if it's a good way or a bad way. For now, it looks like I'm enjoying the surprises. But yeah, everything you said was valid. Like Perry not doing anything, Matt not doing anything, Loyal dying. It's a little surprising how they're gonna clean it up for book two. But then, if they're just gonna diverge from everything, I wouldn't mind that at all too. Because there's no way they're gonna be able to do books three, four, five. Those are just they're just too much, especially when you get to book five. What's happening in book four? Well,
This is more of the parent stuff. Going
the
back
river. That
to
was good.
through, yeah,
Oh, and but
yeah,
Rand's going to the Isle Ways, right?
yep.
Oh
I
shit.
always
So
like he's
yeah,
been.
so book five, there's gonna be like battles of hundreds of thousands with multiple parties. I don't know how they're gonna show that
Yeah,
even. No, so it's like, and they're
I
just
just
gonna
don't know.
be separate.
What's good. I mean, for me, the major question is Moraine being still.
I know. I don't know why they went that way.
Like, what is the so what does she? How can she teach Egwene and Nynaeve or anybody else to channel the
Is
power?
this an out for Rosamund Pike? I don't know. Maybe
No, I
she's
mean
gonna
she
be
moved her
less.
family to so I saw one of the interviews because I'm just a big Rosamund Pike fan. I saw one of the interviews that she had with John Stewart. No, not John Stewart. One of the late night people. He's like she moved her family to Croatia to be closer to filming. So I'm assuming this is like a multi-season project, right? So we'll
She's still
see.
badass, so we'll see. Besides, if the other girls go back to Tarvalan, it's not like she can go.
Yeah,
She's
it's true.
exiled. So, but yeah, I mean, I liked it. It's still good. Maybe the series was bouncing between 7 to 8.5 for me at points. Ended with maybe 7.5. So I still think it's a definite watch for people,
Yeah.
especially those of leaning towards the fantasy. If you like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, it's not the same, of course. But then why would you want the same? It's just the same, some same flavors as them. So give it a try. Especially if you have Prime Video, then it's free.
That's true.
Essentially,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like I mean, the way that you described the series for me encouraged me to read the or at least get the audiobooks, and I'm enjoying the audiobooks. It is an actual epic. That's what I'm missing in the series for now, the epicness of it. The first few episodes with them initially leaving the not even leaving the two rivers, like even just like the sights and sounds of the two rivers, those aerial shots, that was more epic than the last few episodes where there were giant battles. So I think it's a question of quality. I think it's gonna get better because usually the series is once they do more seasons, once
they
they have more
learn.
props, they kind of like are better. Like it's already there. They're not making it from scratch
Yeah,
anymore. So I'm really looking forward to season two. But again, it's one of those like it's not one of the series. It's not like a Hawkeye series or um what like Arcane, where it's like you have to watch
oh
this,
yeah,
like you have to
those
watch
are
this ASAP. This is one of those like, hey, it's on Amazon Prime, you should watch it at some point because it's fun and you'd rather be in the start of the series so you're not kind of like catching. You imagine those people that learned of Game of Thrones 5 6 years later and you have to watch 5 seasons again. No, it's like now it's 8 episodes. It's on Amazon Prime. Just watch it. So but yeah, I think we're aligned. I'm like 7.5 too, the entire series. So yeah, that is
which I think
uh
for me is already big because since I'm a big fan of the books, I didn't know if they could pull it off, and they did. I mean, it's not what I would have wanted, but I'm not the type of person. I mean, the way I envisioned it couldn't be done unless it was
oh yeah.
animated. So I was able to temper my expectations and be be realistic.
Yeah.
So
I like how it's a lot more contained. And again, it's like me too. And I'm like, I'm reading the book as of now. And man, like book four,
right.
Perrin is a general in the
It's
fucking
so
Two
fucking
Rivers.
awesome, right? And I
Matt
love.
and Matt and Rand is in
Ayel.
Isle
Ayel
the
Way.
Isle Waste. Fucking
Nynaeve
Nynaeve,
are in
Elaine are training in the dream world. Like
uh,
even I forget. Like there's like a major plot point. I don't want to. Okay, spoiler alert for people that are gonna read the book. Earmuffs, because this is kind of one of the most giant spoiler alerts in the entire series. So earmuffs. I'm
skip.
gonna I'm gonna wave when it's okay. I even forgot how the fucking Amerlin seat got stilled.
He
I
did.
just like she like I was like, what? You're still what? There's a new Amerlin seat that rose against your power. I was like, fuck, you're the fucking Amerlin seat. It's like I
Yeah.
I it's like there's so many things happening that I can't keep track. But yeah, okay, we're all back. No more spoilers. All right.
But even that parenting, I love that part where he gets to the two rivers and he doesn't want to be a leader, but everybody's deferring to him. It's so good. I just love that part.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's the things that you don't see. You don't get to get the time in series is where, like, yeah, you're followed through your actions, not necessarily your age or your stature anymore. Like, he survived so many
true.
things, and then people believe him. So, well,
Yeah. So
I
that's
think
our wheel of time.
Wheel of Time. Let us know what you think about the series. We can continue to discuss until the next season drops. But now we are going to move to the next segment of our episode, discussing our movie of the week, The Matrix
Resurrection.
Resurrections. All right, The Matrix Resurrection. A bit of stats before we run. It is directed and written by one of the Wachowskis, Lana Wachowskis. Lana Wachowski had David Mitchell and Alexander Herman as additional writers on the show. It's produced by the Lana Wachowski again. Grant Hill, the
Oh,
basketball player, was a producer, and James McTeague. Um, Stars reprising the role as Neo and Thomas Anderson. Excuse me. Keanu Reeves, reprising her role as Trinity, and Tiffany, Carrie Ann Moss, stepping into a new version of Morpheus is Yahya Abdul Mateen II, uh, uh, famous for
Candyman.
Candyman. Right, he's an amazing actor. I really like him. Other notable people: Neil Patrick Harris, Priyanka Chopra, Jada Pinkett Smith reprising her
Jessica
role as
Henwick.
Niobe, Jessica Henwick
I love
also,
her.
and Jonathan Groff. He's so Jessica Henwick played Colleen Wing in the Iron Fist series. I'm very happy. I read a lot about her in preparation of this show, about because I figured, like, why was she not in uh Shang-Chi,
She chose this
right?
one. Yeah.
Well, not only that, apparently, uh oh shit, I can't. Well, so apparently I can spoil this a little bit. So apparently Charlie Cox knew at some point that he was going to be in MCU 3 years ago. I
Okay.
guess he was already told by, at least not necessarily directly by Feige, but Feige's team, that, hey, Daredevil was dope. You're gonna be our Daredevil. So just hang tight. You're just gonna put you on ice to find the right timing. Charlie Cox, during the filming of The Defenders, mentioned that to Jennifer Henwick,
Jessica Henwick.
Jessica Henwick. So what she did was like, all right, she wants to return as Colleen Wing,
Oh,
or she
okay.
wants to return as,
The
she
Iron
wants to
Fist.
be,
Oh,
right. Right. She wants to return that. So that's why one of the main reasons she declined Shang-Chi, because she wanted an opening to still be Colleen Wing. And of course, The Matrix came. The filming of The Matrix came soon after. So it's that's very admirable of her too, because I didn't love Colleen Wing, but the potential was there. Like,
I
there's
loved
a
her. I
lot of
didn't
things
love the
that she
show
could.
Iron Fist show, but I loved her.
I think it's more most of the show, but again, it's a good. Hopefully, they can salvage that character moving forward. Uh, Okay, release date December 16th, 2021. That was last Wednesday. 148 minutes. Solid. A little over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Two
Almost
hours
two
and
and a
20
half.
minutes. Um, at the time of this recording, it has only grossed a box office of $20.1 million in the theaters. But again, it's because it is
It's on HBO Max.
available in HBO Max. Before we go to the plot and spoiler territory, Chubax, let's discuss in depth first what you thought about the movie. And I'll discuss mine as well before we go to the story plots.
I need to watch it again, but my initial preliminary thoughts is I liked it. Maybe even really liked it. But how do I say it? It's an A movie concept done in a B plus way, or maybe a B. Like it was. I think it's not the budget. I think it's just too rushed. I think they went too fast with it. Just too many concepts. They just wanted it out of the way, and they went boom, boom, boom. And I saw in the IGN interviews, Keanu said they didn't do any rehearsals. Lana didn't do any rehearsals compared to when they did the first three. There was lots of rehearsals. It showed. It showed. There was lots of shots where there were not as many shots as like the first one, where like you could see that every shot was well thought out. Every shot was planned. This one was just like we kind of know what looks cool, so we'll just throw it in there and we'll just do this. So yeah, lots of concepts, lots of and it and the A concept executed B style was everywhere, not just the action. It was also in the writing. It was also in the I guess some of the acting as well, some of the scenes. I love Bugs. I love Bugs. I love Keanu, of course. I love Trinity. But the other car, could you even name some of the Shepherd? Like those were like flimsy cutouts.
Seek,
I don't know. Yeah, see,
Seek, Shepherd,
uh,
the neologist. That's
side,
all I want. The granddaughter of somebody.
but so many good concepts. Like the I guess some spoilers. The union IO being a union of man and machine,
Mm-hmm.
which I wanted to. I wish they could have leaned more on it into it. And Agent Smith was weird. But that's my preliminary thoughts. I think I want another one, like a fifth one. I want to see where they go with it. Like there's lots of potentials, but I mean even Bugs, they barely scratched the surface with her. She just said some lines that she believed in Neo because he changed her life, and then that was all her motivation. They didn't dig too dig too much into her, and she was one of the main characters. So yeah, that's one of the disappointing ones. But how about you?
So I think I mentioned this pre-show. I've seen this 3 times
Uh
already.
huh.
I really, really want to like it. I don't. It's a horrible movie. It's it's so sad because like there's glimpses of brilliance
Yeah, it was
in
just too rushed.
the movie.
I still enjoyed it
And
though.
there's it's in
I think I think the
I'm
difference with
gonna
us
say
is I wasn't expecting this movie, so I didn't think it would be good. So it was a little pleasant surprise, but yeah, a lot of nitpicks like the B movie, which I
I
guess I guess it,
so
it
I
is sad if you see how good the original one was.
I-
So
so the thing that comes into my mind here is so Matrix Resurrection is Star Wars Force Awakens, right? It's essentially a retread of the first of the original series, right? So A New Hope and then The Force Awakens is essentially an Allen log of each other with enhancements setting up the next stuff. And this is the same. Like I was surprised how much of the original Matrix was spliced into this movie,
yeah,
right?
yeah, but
So
just for context, Force Awakens was like a different version of A New Hope, but
yeah,
that was executed in an A style. Execution
exactly.
was
And
A. This one, I don't know how.
so that's
Go.
where I kind of uh that's where the most disappointment happened for me. So there's two levels of my disappointment. One, the pacing of the movie. The first 2/3 of the movie had drops of act like set pieces of like action set pieces that was literally just like chiseled in to break all the talk, because there's a lot of explanation needed on why this Matrix movie is happening, right? And we'll discuss that in this in the plot and in the in the semi spoilery section. We're gonna try to not spoil it, because we still want you guys to like discuss and enjoy the movie, but we can't really provide insights without like divulging some information. So that's just kind of like part of the process. So one, too much talking, too much, so many like very intricate descriptions of what had happened, what is happening, how things are working now, what they think happened, or how they think they found this new version of Neo or whatever. Um, and then you drop in a lot of action set pieces that kind of like is you're right. That's where I felt the quality was lacking. Was there's so I found it so funny. So many guns, so many shooting. Apparently, like supposedly like agents or SWAT team or SWAT personnel not hitting anything, nor anyone. Nobody got grazed. Nobody got shot. Right. That was it. So the I think that's where the choreography was like I didn't realize that you mentioned that they didn't have like rehearsals here, maybe because of the budget. I was trying to research the budget, and they didn't have like an actual amount, but they estimated it at $175 million, which is a hefty amount. But this is a CG heavy and a set heavy movie, so I realized that maybe all the budget went
Yeah,
there
it
instead
didn't look
of.
like 170 million.
Yeah, because like the original movie was like only $6 to $8 million, right? So the like so, but
That
again,
looked more
the
expensive than this.
exact so that exacerbated the fact that, oh, I'm watching this on at home. Like this fits in my TV. It's not one of those. It's not like Dune, where I was watching it at home. I was giddy, and
Mm.
I projecting myself watching it in IMAX, because I know
Mm.
I'm gonna feel it a lot more. This one's like it fits. Like I'm glad that I watched at home. So that's one. It's just like the pace of the story was a little bit all over the place. A lot of exposition that wasn't packaged in a way that was, um because it's instead of the original series, you're in for the ride, unraveling the layers of the world. This one
Mm-hmm.
is just like being explained to you. So I did enjoy that. And then again, the action set pieces, the choreography wasn't as high end, and that kind of like made me. It's like it's sad because I love Colleen, man. I love Jessica Henwick. Keanu Reeves is actually acting here, and he's not the greatest actor, so maybe that's another reason why it's falling apart. Like he's playing a person that is kind of like struggling with reality, which is I
Mm-hmm.
like it. I like the Neo character here. I like the Thomas Anderson character here. Neil Patrick Harris is delightful. The way that he explains how this happened in a very clinical
Yeah,
way
but
was
he also felt B-ish to me in the end.
in the end. But like,
Yeah.
so the start of the movie, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
was carried
No,
by.
that's something that popped into my head right now too. Like they were going for some amazing heavy stuff at the start, like the concepts with the gaming and the layers, and then
Oh,
but by the halftime, it was just like the same question as the first one. Like,
ex-
real?
100%.
What if she likes the fantasy world more than the real world? It boiled down to that. Where did the discussions
And
about the
yeah, and they skipped a bunch of real stuff about like, all right, how if this was happening, how did how was this mode? We'll talk about the mode a little bit, but like, how did the modal come about? Right? There's so many like gaps that, um, it really seems that they're gonna do two or three more movies here, and this is one of those like you need a fucking second and third movie here, because this one movie is going to, like, I would hate for this to be
end?
the last Matrix movie. No,
Yeah.
because like people hate, or people complain about revolutions and what it says that reloaded and revolutions. I They were not the best, but I was happy with how that ended. If this is how you end this trilogy or this series or franchise that I hold so dear, I'd be very disappointed. So, but yeah, it's still entertaining. I think it is currently for me. I'm gonna put it at a 5.5.
IGN scored it at a 4.
I hate being in line with fucking IGN, but sure, like we're kind of aligned. It's still not it's not bad because I again I love the nuggets. I love how they built this world. I kind of enjoy it, but it took me like the third watching before I understood. Like, oh fuck, okay, cool, yeah, I understand it now. And I paid attention the first time. I had pizza, but Diet Coke. Turned off the lights. I was very, very like I was paying attention. It's like what the fuck. Uh, but yeah. Shall we go to spoiler territory now?
Yeah, yeah, go.
Okay, right. For the people who have not seen the series yet,
Just
or the
rush.
movie yet,
Don't talk too much like them.
yeah.
Don't talk
So
a lot
we're
like the movie.
yeah. We're gonna give like a quick summary of the plot. We're gonna have to provide a little bit more information to discuss our insights about them. But if you want to jump into the Matrix Resurrection, the movie, without knowing all of these, watch it first and come back. We'll timestamp this portion. But so the Matrix starts with Bugs kind of watching an older version of the Matrix. They found a modal. Again, it took me a while to understand what the modal is, but the modal is a program to evolve other programs. So you kind of have a little world within a world. So you let your program run
So
there
in essence, it's
and
like
see
a
where that
pocket
program
dimension.
goes. Pocket dimension,
But
yeah. But
it's made by some. It was made by Neo or Thomas Anderson, so that you make a
yeah,
pocket world or pocket the model, and then you plug in a program there, so it can evolve by itself.
see how it, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So see how it evolves and develops. Um, so that was kind of like the first onset. They kind of um see the old a version of the old Trinity doing the things that had happened in movie one. Cut to say okay, adventure ensues. They try to they the program catches bugs and team trying to tinker away with these. But the funny part in the first section is the Agent Smith in that particular modal world is a combination of both Agent Smith. It's a program that is a combination of both Agent Smith and the old Morpheus, which is interesting because it is an integral part on what that current world's Neo is trying to do to find out. So, because in that new world, in that new matrix where Neo is living in, there is no Morpheus. So there is no person that will find him. So he made this model, see what happens there. That model created a version of Morpheus that if escapes can then find Neo. So again, it's a little bit of convoluted right now, but the first part of the movie is essentially Bugs and team finding this model, accidentally finding a combo version, a new version of Morpheus that has Agent Smith stuff in him, or play a character of Agent Smith in that particular model, and extracting that version of the Morpheus. Once that had happened, now we go back to explanation of what of Neo is doing that world. He is the premier game designer. He was the one who built the Matrix, the game, the trilogy games, about essentially their adventures, essentially the first three movies, which is kind of a cool touch. I really appreciated how
Yeah.
they
No,
did that.
that was really good concept and critique and uh thought. Like the idea was really good.
Um, what happens there is Neo being explained to be the designer of the Matrix, the game, He is currently making a game called Binary that is over budget. He is then called upon the boss's office, which was supposed to kind of allude to the older version of the Matrix, Agent Smith. Like even the lines that Agent Smith had mentioned during the first movie, what he kind of used. Um, and he was told that he was going to do another a sequel to the trilogy, which is that I see that's the strong start. I love the start.
The
Fucking that's dope.
meta dialogues.
It
Yeah,
is about that movie, but also
very brave
very
actually.
brave, but also like the idea of okay, we're explaining why we're doing this. Right, we're doing this because they were gonna do it anyway, so might as well bring in the original people that did it, right? So it's kind of like it's super meta. Um, we'll fast forward. So that was just like that is an integral part because that kind of unhinges Neo to make him go to
Question the
his
reality.
question. So he starts seeing his boss mouth covered, like his mouth was covered during the first movie, but we cut to him going to his therapist, played by Neil Patrick Harris, with a cat deja vu. Uh, and then I love how Neil Patrick Harris explained very clearly, that his reaction, right? His reaction to the news was my favorite term. It's positive use of trauma. It's like adaptive use of trauma, like because there we realize that the Thomas Anderson is this world tried to kill himself, tried to jump off a train because his brain doesn't understand what is the game or what is reality. He made this game that kind of blends reality in the virtual world together. But his most recent episode is his mind trying to defend itself from a so the boss is trying to force you to build a game that you don't want to build anymore. You were ambushed, you felt threatened, you felt traumatized, so you wanted to take away your boss's voice by covering that mouth too. So there's like, oh shit, it fucking makes sense. Everything that you're saying is making sense. So we just kind of, but the most important thing here is like he has a therapist that helps him handle his issues through pills and therapy because he's a suicide survivor because his mind doesn't realize what is real or not. Next portion of the movie is a little bit more jumbled, and I'm going to skip a lot. But bigger beats is, um, uh, because Bugs was able to release Morpheus. Morpheus was then able to understand what the modal was, who made the modal, and then the mission to extract Thomas Neo from that particular version of the Matrix is done. Lots of action set pieces. Uh, uh, it was also cool because they didn't extract Neo in the first try. Like Morpheus came out of the bathroom to meet Neo. Lots of theatrics. Um, wanted to give him the red pill, blue pill option. Neo didn't agree. And ultimately the first foray of the mission failed. Right. That's um kind of true. Goes back to the therapist, which is another good step for me. After the first attempt of extraction of Neo, he finds himself in the therapist again. Things like, okay, so if we go back to your office, was there a shoot up there or anything? I was like, no. Was there a mess? If I look at your phone, is there going to be a message from Morpheus? Like, no. So he understood. Um, but because of that, Neo again goes back, wants to jump off a building to free his mind. Bugs stops him. Extraction takes place. And then now, we go again, broad strokes again, skipping a lot of stuff because a lot of action I want you guys to enjoy. But the second attempt of Bugs to extract Neo from the Matrix works. He is then now he Bugs explains that it to to him it might have just felt 20 years, but it's closer to 60 years where he's been in this new version of the Matrix. Initially, he was kind of disappointed, like, "Oh, I'm like everything that I've done, everything that I've sacrificed, it was for nothing. I was still being used." But Bugs kind of like explained to him like this new version of the new or the sides are is new. There is no longer machines versus humans. It's because there are some machines that want to help humans, just want to continue to exist. There are even some programs who want to also continue to exist. They just, they don't want the matrix to be turned off, but they don't want people to get harmed as well. So there's this new symbiotic world in Io, like you mentioned, a city that Niobe has developed to kind of like live in more harmony with the not no longer machines but called sentients, sentients,
Sentient.
sentients. Um, they get to IO where Bugs and her crew were court-martialed or were stripped off privileges to becoming captains of the ship, the Nimesine, because they no longer do pirate broadcasts or jump into the Matrix to keep IO safe from the evil machines. Um, evil machines that have there's a bit where Neo and Niobe catch up. What had happened across the years? What's new in this world? What
It's so
happened to
weird too.
Zion?
I like a microcosm of this whole movie. Why did they need to do the 60-20 year jump? Neo ages 20 years, but in real life, there's a 60-year jump. That seemed unnecessary.
I think no, I think it was necessary. I would have
Why?
because I think you wanted more impact on what had happened to Zion.
You couldn't do that in the 20-year. I think that could have been done in 20 years. You could have had. There's a whole new generation in 20 years.
I know, but yeah,
Uh,
I think I like the more time to develop the what to call
I
these,
don't
like
know. It
the
could have
digital
been
stuff.
could have been done in 20 years. I think. I
Also
didn't
an
think.
explanation why they don't have a lot of the other actors, right? Because they you want to
Well,
keep
I don't know. You
you
could
know
have killed him. It would have been easy to kill him. Still.
actually, before I continue, Chubax, can you stop the recording real quick so I can pee?
And we're back.
We're back from my
Yep.
quick pre-break, but yeah. So coming back to the 60 year time jump, I think they just wanted to give them a little bit more time to either replace characters, do more worlds. Like I don't think that you can build a new city in under 20 years. So yeah, I liked it, but you didn't, so that's okay.
It's fine. It's just so weird. Like I said,
Uh,
this movie felt rushed, but at the same time could have cut out a lot of stuff in the middle. I don't. So it's
it's
funny.
so weird. All right, so let's just like tidy up the last few bits of the plot. Uh, in the end, Niobe has created a world IO or a city IO that is combining the Synthians programs that can live within the real world through
And they're
some
not
like
at
magnetic.
war
They're
with
not
the
at war.
Matrix or with the
they're
machines.
they're they're growing their own food already. They have a sky in the city. So this is a very, very nice city that they have built in harmony with the other people that um
Keep safe.
she's trying to keep safe. Um which meant that all right, Neo can never tinker with the machine world again, go back to the Matrix because it might revert back to them, but Neo wanted to um release um
Save Trinity. Extract.
extract Trinity from the Matrix because again, that's the only thing that he cares about. Um, he gets somewhat imprisoned. He gets a little bit broken out of prison. They illegally try to rescue um, Trinity, and then I might be skipping a few details here, but Getting Trinity will be very, very complicated because it's a new pod that was built by one of the returning characters' father. So Sati's father developed this new anomaly pod that generates way more electricity, not because of control, but more of like the feelings of two people with each other. So which is that's Trinity and Neo. So he had a hand in resurrecting Neo, building this new pod, building a new system of not only control but kind of like extraction of energy from both Neo and Trinity. So Sati, played by Priyanka Chopra, helps them extract Trinity. They did the extracting mission, lots of explosions. We find out that the analyst, oh, sorry, we find out that the therapist, played by Neil Patrick Harris, is an analyst, is the analyst that kind of proposed to resurrect Trinity and Neo, do a different version of the Matrix where it's the feelings, the unrequited feelings of them, each other. That's what they're going to draw energy from. As long as they keep them apart, they will try to find each other, and then trying to find each other. That tension is the one that kind of like produces more energy, setting records and yada
which is
yada
a
yada.
little far fetched.
Again, not explain. I like the idea. I like that they're using feelings, and I like is using the unrequited love, and making two things that needs to be together, and just like putting them slightly apart to each other in their worlds to produce certain things. But I needed more explanation, so um, but okay, and then we'll skip to the end. Lots of fight scenes between really cool version of the analyst using Neo's special ability of bullet time against him, like now and then instead of doing agents, it's a lot more efficient to do swarms, where instead of like a building agents, you just build NPCs that can be co-opted whenever needed. So that's kind of a cool version on how the analyst Neil Patrick Harris get to control Neo and Trinity. But eventually, of course, Neo and Trinity um, gets to one another. There was a little moment there where Trinity might have not chosen Neo, but eventually did choose Neo, and then they get to escape. The movie ends with Neo and Trinity paying a visit to the analysts. Now Neo and Trinity has like control over this new Matrix world. Like they can destroy. Like I love the fact that like Trinity will kick the analyst's jaw off, and she'll snap, and then it's all connected. Cut the head off, snaps, all back again. Um, it's kind of like open ended because the analyst is still there saying that the matrix can't pull the plug on any of these because they'll need the source code, and the source code is within Neo and Trinity, and if they're not there, they won't be able to do it. But they also can't purge the analyst because he knows humans, like human emotions, so he can essentially manage this for now. And Trinity and Neo says that they're gonna change the world and have fun and show them what an open mind can do, and that's where the movie ends.
I
Poor
don't know.
description of the plot.
Yeah, poor plot as well.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know.
so
As I'm digesting now, it's getting lower on my scale as well. I'll need to rewatch it again. But yeah, some of my nitpicks, not major nitpicks, but like uh, like Morpheus, cool idea, right? Like a
mhm.
model, a program version of Morpheus. But then by the second half, he's nobody. He's
He's
just one of
benched.
the
Yeah,
soldier. Yeah,
great call.
no logic, no like philosophy anymore, anything. And then another one is where were the cool shots? He when they all entered with Shepard for the grand finale. They weren't cool. Did you think they were cool? I still it's still embedded in my mind how when Morpheus brought Neo to the Oracle for the first time, and they all entered that thing. They all went out of the warehouse. Even everybody looked cool, even down to the
Yeah.
other characters. But here it was like they came in the police station. The shot. Well, they were the blocking was bad with the police officers. You could barely see them coming in
Yeah, I
between the
mean that was
two.
so the that scene was the scene where Neo was gonna talk to Trinity if Trinity would go with him. So essentially, it was a coffee shop filled with police officers, and then they were talking right in the middle of it. Like,
And then
okay,
another microcosm of how this felt rushed. Like, so uh, who's the other girl? Eves or Levi? I forgot
I
who.
don't even know the one with the weird hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's in trouble. Bugs has this heroic moment of going back in to save her. And what was the scene? Standing
In the
outside
car.
shooting. Yeah, she was just
Like,
outside shooting guns. No movement, no action sequence. Just shooting, and then they're clear, and then she helps them out. Like, what? And then the shepherd coming in with it's, it's like and then I saw a tweet that was so funny. It's like, boy, that Neo really put all the experience points in the force push. It's like,
yeah,
is that the only thing he can do? Like, I don't know. Like, it was so much rush. I just even Mr. Smith felt off. Like, I don't know if
even the
actually
flight at the end where
the two of them.
Trinity was flying is like
Yeah,
that doesn't look like a cool flight. You're literally looking like you're hanging.
yeah,
So it's
yeah, yeah. And
I really
then
wanted to like this.
it's funny too, cause like I love the concept of him seeing cuts of the old film.
Mhm.
Such a brave concept, but it made it look bad because the first one looks so good, even now. Right? I mean, I don't know why, but
You're 100%
the
right.
scenes were so like it's not the effects because the effects are better now. I think it's just the cinematography and the well thought out of the shots before compared to now. So it's like yeah,
I
like you
mean,
said, it's just I love Bugs, but I hope she gets a chance at redemption.
the sad part about this, like you're right. The entire movie had great nuggets. It just wasn't woven together
Mm-hmm.
correctly. Like the modal concept was great, wasn't explained particularly well because I do like the idea of like new actors playing old scenes, right? And then the characters like the new characters of the Matrix of the Nimacine or like Bugs' team watching the old Matrix being replayed by new actors was kind of fun with minor differences. That was great. Not explained well. Um, the new version of Morpheus. I love the explanation that it is a combination of Morpheus and Smith, the two people that knew Neo the most. So if you're going to, if there's anybody that can find
Like
this,
this one, this shot, this part is so good. Like this one was well thought out. This the choreo there. See that shot? That was good. But there's not enough of it, or just not like you
I
said,
think
not
yeah
woven together properly.
yeah. I mean the idea is like I don't think like I'd hate to blame the choreographers too, like the fight choreographers, but we've seen more polished fight scenes in fucking Corridor Crew than this, right? So that's that's something. But again, like I love the new Morpheus. The start was pretty cool, and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Right? I love the concept of programs living in the real world through those little buttons. Um, I love the way that they did. They explained the new Neo and Trinity. Like the idea is like Neo only lives for Trinity now, and then Trinity's the key for Neo, and so you have to keep them near but apart because if they get together, things explode, right? So I love that idea, but wasn't hashed out particularly well.
Even
And
Bugs, she was one of the main characters, but
No
she wasn't
backstory.
she wasn't woven in with Neo. Like, why are they working together? Why are they friends? You know, they're
Why was she trying to find Neo? What was her impetus? There's no real mission for
yeah, she
her to,
wasn't. Yeah, yeah,
right? So there's so many gaps in this freaking movie that now it's like I'm
yeah. It's going
like
lower in my rating right now.
it's I cannot believe that you could ruin a franchise with these people that are coming back 20 years later. I'm just like I'm really hoping that this is gonna do a Venom. Like Venom is horrible, but it's making money, so they'll keep making stuff of it until they get it correctly, giving it another chance to make it better. But because like Dune was not assured of a second movie,
Yeah.
but this is.
Is this assured?
Well, it's not assured, but like you've made the film like fucking cliffhanger.
I love the part that was it Sai Bebe? Sai Baby? I love that
Si baby.
they could have made more characters of that. Just give them lines. It would have been much more interesting that they say they're working with Cynthians, but they didn't give them a significant role, you know? I mean, they used him as a taxi to get to one place to another. That's it. If they're gonna give living in the world, they would have been should have been like 50-50, you know? Like half of the crew would have been Cynthians and they would have been more personality, or did they leave that for Morpheus? But it's weird because Morpheus is like he can't be like a sentient. He can't represent the sentience because
Yeah.
his mind is of a person. You know what I mean. So it's like, is it Sati? But we don't even
No,
see
Sachi is a
her.
program also.
Yeah, we don't even see
It's
her
the
sentient
bird that
version.
Sati, the other bird that kind of
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
you know.
So
Either way, how about we close out this episode about saying the things that we did like about this movie.
oh, I love.
What's the best story? That's the storyline that you like the most about that Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, you like you said, Keanu. I love Keanu. I love this, especially the first half of him. You know, figuring stuff out, understanding. It was relatable, and you could see it. It was connected well to the previous ones, with the with the game and trying to find out if this is real again or not. The and the action scene. Some of his fight choreography was good. It's too much force push. Did they think of another power? Like, was it why did they tie him to just one skill? You know, and then I love this. Some of the fight scenes with bugs. Bugs is my favorite. And
Mhm.
then Carrie Ann Moss was pretty good too, but yeah, she was limited.
Yeah,
It's funny that
badass mom.
we're criticizing the choreography when her husband in the film is the director of John Wick. It's Chad.
Oh,
Yeah,
Chad is director.
yeah, he's
Oh,
the director of John Wick.
didn't even know
So
that.
yeah, I know that guy said. So I looked it up. It was him. So yeah, it's just funny. But how about you? What did you like?
I did love the they had a little exposition there about the best way to co-opt an idea is trivialize it. So making the Matrix into a video game, and then discussing the video game, and like there's like a certain they repeat like the people in that
Yeah,
little circle
those were
discussing the
great
sequel.
shots. I seen concepts. Yeah,
I'd love,
scenes.
yeah, I love that idea. I love actually. I'm very very satisfied on how they explained why there was a new Matrix, right? It's like, all right, you rebuild, you rebuild Trinity and Neo, and then just put them in a different version of the Matrix that is kind of like more attuned to them. Cool. Um, yeah, that was like a fascinating concept for me. But and Pepper the meme about um putting in the movie that like Warner Brothers they name drop Warner Brothers, like Warner Brothers is going to make a sequel to the original trilogy, and they're going to do it with or without us. So it's like I was like And
So
yeah, and again, I guess in the second I love Neil Patrick Harris. He's dope. I loved him as the character. Um, if they can put them all back in there, just clean up the choreography a little bit, you know, better effects, more action. I think it's salvageable, but this is going to be an uphill battle. This is definitely going to be an uphill battle.
agree.
So yeah, I think that is our
Yeah, I came in maybe
guy.
6.5, but after our discussion, it's down to a 5. Back recording on.
Yeah, so yeah, you're at 6.5.
And then after our discussion, I'm down to a 5.
I'm gonna stick with a 5.5 because again, I think
5.5.
there's some there's good there. There's
I
again
I gotta watch it again
if
though.
they didn't if they didn't have Keanu and Carry On Moss, this would have been disastrous.
Oh,
This would have been
agreed.
like a
Agreed.
C movie. Right? And if they recasted them, it's like fuck that shit. So luckily I really hope that they do a couple of more. I really,
And
really
then
hope so. So
they name drop that the machines went to war with each other, and then no mention
mm.
of it again. That would have been like, I want to know more about that.
I think that's a backdoor pilot of like maybe an animated series, like an HBO Max animated series. We'll
Make this
see.
one good for.
Um yeah,
But yeah, we're done with that.
that is Hawkeye, Wheel of Time, the Matrix Resurrection for this week's episode of Plus 63 HP podcast reviews. Again, don't forget to uh, search us on YouTube. Just look for plus 63 HP, or if you want to launch us directly from your browsers, just type in bit.ly slash plus 63 HP. We'd love it if you'd subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification button, comment on the video so algorithms will help us out. But we'll also love to reply to all of your questions and suggestions. We're on the Twitter and on the Instagram at plus 63 HP. And we are available whatever podcast app you're using. So just search plus 63 HP. We'll be there. You can listen to all of our episodes in audio form. Next week, we'll be discussing The Witcher in the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Do you want to add
Chubax?
one more thing here?
Oh, sure. Oh, yes. Don't look up. I actually had that listed tomorrow night. I was going to order pizza, get my Diet Coke. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be excited. I haven't seen any reviews yet, so I don't know
I
how
know, me
it's going
too.
to go. So,
So for me,
Chubax, goodbyes.
yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you had a good holiday. Um, Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you on our next show. Bye from Big
Thank you very
Daddy.
much. And we'll see you next time. We appreciate your view and your listen. Bye.